Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Tuesday said that 2.6 million voters will take part in the September 21st governorship election in Edo State. INEC Supervising National Commissioner for Edo, Delta and Cross River States, Professor Edo Guber, stated this at the Commission's office in Benin, the state capital, at the presentation of voters' registers for the elections to the chairman and the representatives of 16 participating political parties. Guber said that in line with the Electoral Act 2022, INEC must present the voters' registers to the chairman of the political parties not later than 30 days before the election. We are trying to obey the law and carrying out the 10th of the 13 activities scheduled for Edo governorship election. All right, sir, we are seeing a situation here where INEC has started fulfilling the demands of the Constitution to the people of Edo State, starting with presentation of the voters' registers to the chairman of participating political parties. And I saw that we read out just 3 political parties here, but about 16 of them.
No, that's a major, you know.
Major, yes. Yes.
In fairness, no one is trying to degrade the other political parties.
Definitely.
But, you know, when conversations like this happen,
yeah,
we will majorly focus on the major actors in the race.
Okay, now let's look at non-state actors. I'm a bit conversant with the territory, Edo State. I did my university education there at Benedict University.
Wow.
Yes, so I have a bit of experience how politicking in Edo State usually is. It's not a thing of you sit down in the house and win. You have to come out and you have to be able to campaign vigorously. And also there are the aspects of non-state actors. You know, the youths, the unions, and also louts and touts and all that. Everybody is active politically in Edo State. So being that INEC is also asking for all rules and regulations guiding gubernatorial elections in the state to be observed, where do you think that there might be a break in the smooth running of this gubernatorial election, sir?
First of all, from what you said earlier, good that INEC is fulfilling first.
Yeah.
Is mandate on the obligations to conduct the election. But certain things I want to raise there. It is not just the work of INEC.
Okay.
It is also the work of the political parties that this register has been handed over to them. Scrutinize it. Go through it. Go to your wards. Go to the polling units. Paste these things on the wall. Call out your supporters. Verify these data. Verify if you cannot find your name, because it's very possible that probably I voted last time. This was my polling unit, because sometimes in creating some delineation by INEC, certain persons might have been moved to a polling unit. Now go and check. Don't wait until it is the election day. You now start coming and you won't see your name. Now it is the work of the political parties, the CSOs, to now start helping the people go out en masse and check if you can find your name. Go to the polling areas where you did your presidential election. Check if you are still there or you have been moved to another polling unit. Go and check, so that at the end of it, these are the things that makes for a smooth election. 2 is that I want to sound a note of warning to INEC. I thought that by now we should have what we call the mock exercise, where we test run, because there was a time where we had, was it fire or flood? I can't remember again. In Edo State, they gutted some machines and things, sensitive and non-sensitive materials in Edo State.
Exactly.
I thought that by now we should be having what we call the mock exercise. Check out turnout. Check out in trying the training that you have done for your staff. Let them do some small exercise of it. Let's check out the machine, because we had the issue of not uploading the data from the polling booth to the IRF portal.
Exactly.
Can we now say that that thing has been sorted out and that Edo election is the first election after the presidential election, the last election, almost 1 year, so that we can create confidence. The people will see that, okay, I think INEC is trying to sort out what was controversial in the last election. And so for me, it's a good thing that INEC should do what we call the mock exercise and take everything. Now, to the non-state actors, and I think that whether it's a tout, a conductor, and the man in the very big man in coat all have one vote. Exercise that power of that one vote. It was real out that 2.6 million plus voters in Edo State. I beg all registered voters in Edo State, come out and exercise your civic responsibility. Come out. Don't say that few, because when we look at statistics, history has told us that not even close to 30% of persons who come out to exercise their franchise. So I beg Edo State, I beg the women, the mothers, the students, the youth, the elderly. It is your time. Use that power. It is one man, one vote. Use that power.
Sir, what could cause that low turnout to
confidence?
Yeah. Okay.
Confidence has always been. There is this perception, which is sometimes when you hear they say Transparency International, corruption index in Nigeria and all of that. It is perception. It is not based on how many arrests you made, how many cases you won, because there is this perception that whether we vote or we no vote, the person who go win election will win election. No, let's not do that. Let's go out en masse and believe that this process will work. In believing, that's why I said INEC must come clean, doing what we call the mock exercise, and carry out a mock exercise. Allow the people see that. Tell them, speak to them, address them continually before the election, telling people to come out and vote. That whatever that happened in the presidential and in the last election, that has been sorted out. In doing so, you create confidence. Confidence now brings people out to go and vote. Two is that the political party too must encourage, must mobilize their people to come out and cast their vote.
Okay, sir. Just to chip in, yesterday Adams Oshomole made complaints that he and APC have not been given access to certain locations to use for campaigns, and that it has been shut down by Godwin Obaseki, the governor. You get the point? And I'm now looking at it. Is it that each political party should be responsible for creating a venue for their campaigns, or that the state governor should be able to let one or two places available for all parties, not just the opposition?
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I had the privilege to be here and we spoke about something close to this. Is that when people go into a process called an election, what we know is political parties. When someone wins an election, it becomes the governor of all, not governor of the political party that brought him into office. In other words, we have refused to remove politics from governance. Once you are now elected, what we are now expecting from you are not the promises you made when you were campaigning as a candidate of a political party. You are now a governor who is governing a state. In other words, you have taken an oath to be fair to all, regardless of your political party. That is the oath of office you took. In other words, why would it be, for example, there are schools that were supposed to be used, fields, supposed to be used for campaign. It's a normal thing. You should have a place where the state government or the local government, the local council area, should say, okay, if a political party will use ABCD primary school in my locality, you have to pay us the sum of 75,000 naira. What does that do? It is meant, for example, when we are done, there's something called, you can take what they call caution fee. Yeah. If you destroy anything, this is the money we'll use to repair it. And if you know, by the time you come, you take your pure water, take your sweet, take your biscuit, someone has to clean that place. You can pay. But by the time you now say none of other political parties is allowed to use any of the infrastructure in the state except the political party that brought you into power. You are violating your oath of office. And unfortunately, Nigerians do not have capacity to arrest such situations. And so what we expect, like I was watching, was it about 3 days ago? They had to go and use University of Benin because University of Benin belongs to the federal government. They were using University of Benin. And unfortunately, University of Benin is not in all senatorial zones. And so, these people, you must allow them. That is what we call fair play. These are the things that will not breed thuggery, because some people will feel that we have been cheated out of the process. You cannot be allowed. For example, Adamu Shomole was a former governor. He brought in this current governor. And most of the schools that we have currently in Edo State were built by his government. And unfortunately today, his own political party is being denied of using the access. So because we have not graduated from playing politics and governance, that is why you see these retardations that you see around. A big heart is in governance, not in politics. Politics is selfish, but governance has a big heart to accommodate all. Whether you insulted me during campaign, whether you did anything for me, is gone. Now I am governor. Yeah. I am now the governing all, whether the black, the old, the young. But unfortunately, in governance, we still play politics. That is what you see.
Okay. Finally, on this note, being that the Constitution allows every citizen of Nigeria to fairly throw in the hat to contest for any available political positions. And yesterday, I also heard Adams Oshomole make comments on that there should be a debate, and that the debate should be it should be based on the mother tongue, using Ishan language or any other language that is native to the Edo people, to use that as a way to campaign and to have a debate with all political party contenders using the language as an instrument of communication. Do you think that's right?
It is right to the extent of where he sees it from.
Okay.
But for me, sitting here, in every state, there's what we call the Igbo community, the Yoruba community, the Hausa community, Edo State now as a case study. You have the international communities in Edo State doing business in Edo State. Do they hear that language? 1. 2, in Edo State, an Isha man can talk and a Benin man might not understand. That's why I said he is correct to the extent at which he sees it from. And in all fairness, we will not be in the State Executive Council debating issues and policies, and then we reduced it to our mother tongue, except if all of us speak one language, one dialect. If that happens, for example, we have countries like Germany, we have countries like China, we have countries like Russia, that uses their language even in solving mathematics.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Fair enough. I would have loved that. But I know I am from Auchi. If I speak, I am not sure that the Benin man will understand all that I say. All. He might understand some, but he might not understand all. But I think that there is nothing bad that when it's in Ishan land, he can use the language in communicating deep to his people.
I know that Aswe Godalo is being seen as a trophy boy, that he was not bred in the States, so he might not have full control of linguistics performance to be able to speak as much as maybe the other contestants. Does it mean that every contestant coming for governorship of Edo State should have control over native tongue, at least to make him qualified to be
sometimes we look at leaders and want to emulate them.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In that aspect, I would have said, let me see how this man has achieved a lot abroad and all of that. He can still communicate to us in our mother tongue. It will be beautiful to see. But it doesn't take away his ability, his experience, all that he has gotten over the years. Because he couldn't speak his mother tongue doesn't take away those facts. Two, is that because he couldn't speak his mother tongue, doesn't make him insensitive to his people. No. Compassion is in the heart. We have seen people who violate their own people, who they speak the same language. We have seen people who come from other places. I was privileged to speak to someone, and I was telling him that in life, the people who had helped me more in life, who has promoted me more in life, are not people from my village. Right? They are not people who understand my mother's tongue. So in other words, I do not believe that because Aswan Ighodalo cannot communicate effectively in his mother tongue does not take away his ability to work, his compassion, his experience over the years. No, I do not agree. But again, you want to see a leader and say, oh, I wish I could emulate this man. Because sometimes those of us who live outside of our community, I mean where we came from, we love to see people who communicate in that dialect, but the human interaction doesn't stop in the communication. There are some languages today I understand. I understand them more than my mother's tongue. But it doesn't take away the blood of a Edo man in me. No, not at all. You know, in politics, everything is right. Exactly. Everything they say is right. In other words, it is to curry favor from people to say, this man doesn't understand your language. How then does he want to know your problem? But human relations had gone further than that.
Yes. Thank you.